Hello.
Well, please. Lane 4.
Good morning. Welcome to the first race of the 2013 World Championship Trials. First race is the men's single. We're looking at lane 3. This is Lenny Futterman, rowing for New York AC. We're less than 3 minutes and much closer to 2 minutes away from the start. So I think we're within 2 minutes. We're going to go to the audio to this of the start. It's a little staticky, but hopefully we'll hear what's going on. So in lane 2 is Ricky Holick, Lenny Futterman, we just saw, and now we are looking at Steve Whelpley from Craftsbury, and then over to the right is Mr. Graves, and Tom Graves finished first in his rep. He also finished third in the 2013 World Cup in the men's quad. He was also in the 2009-2011 World Championship men's double. Mr. Futterman, who's also in a center lane, is from New York and competed in U23s.
Mr. Whelpley, Mr. Graves, attention.
We have a start. So on the left-hand side is Ricky Holick. Middle two lanes, Lenny Futterman and Steve Whelpley. And then on the far right is Tom Graves. As they get up to the camera launch, we'll pick them up there.
Might have a slight edge.
And it looks like Steve Whelpley from Craftsbury out in front by open water at this point. The other three boats all within contact, but nobody in contact with Mr. Whelpley out front. Closest to the camera is Mr. Holick, and then Mr. Futterman, Steve Whelpley, who we're looking at right now. And then on his, or furthest away from the camera, is Tom Graves. Right now we're looking at Mr. Futterman closest to the camera and Tom Graves in the outside lane. Graves is moving on Futterman. Mr. Holick is trailing. But as we pan back to the leaders, it's pretty clear who's in control of this race right now, as they're between the 750 and the 1,000 meter mark. Mr. Whelpley looking very comfortable. It's much easier to look comfortable when you're 3 or 4 boats of open water on the rest of the field. these two are battling it out, but they don't seem to be making any ground at all on Mr. Whelpley. And in this regatta, it's just first place. Second place and third and fourth is just for pride, but only the first place finisher goes to the World Championships. The World Championships start August 25th and run through September 1st in South Korea. So Mr. Whelpley is well through the 1,000 now, as the other boats go through the 1,000, and he looks like he's stretching out his lead even further. With about 650 meters to go, it's Whelpley with a significant lead. Now looks like Mr. Futterman has broken away from Mr. Graves, has open water, did that in the from the 1,000 to the 750 to go, and we are going to switch to our finish line camera on top of the boathouse. Looking at Mr. Whelpley on the bottom of the screen, then Mr. Futterman, and then Mr. Holick. Mr. Holick is currently in fourth place. Who we don't see is Mr. Graves, who's on the left-hand side of the screen now. About 300 meters to go in the men's single.
Those time updates are helpful. Thank you.
Stephen Whelpley, way out in front, making this look easy with 4 or 5 boats of open water over the rest of the field. .150 meters to go for Steve Whelpley. Rowing very nicely, very comfortably. You'll be able to follow him through US Rowing and WorldRowing.com at the World Championships. Mr. Futterman coming to the line. Mr. Graves at the line. And Mr. Holick coming to the line. So Steve Whelpley, unofficially, is the winner of the first race of the morning. Next race up is going to be the men's pair, and that will be in 2 minutes. But to start, we're getting ready for the men's pair. Two boats. Looking at the U.S. Rowing Training Center, Princeton. Michael DeSanto and Alex Karwowski. Their competitors will be to the left, to the right, is Union, Peter Graves, and Ben Rubel. But this is the U.S. Rowing Training Center boat. Looks like we're getting close to the start.
Princeton. Union. Attention.
U.S. Training Center boat. Almost through the breakage zone when the red buoys go to yellow. And everybody's through. That signals a clean start, and it looks like we have a clean start, and so we have a fair race, and they are underway. Looks like a pretty tight race so far in the first 500 meters. That's Union in the white on the outside. Closest to the camera is the U.S. Rowing Training Center, DeSanto and Karwowski. And it's the Training Center boat by about a deck length right now. Both boats moving nicely, but the Training Center boat has a little bit of an advantage right now of a half a boat. Now that Union boat is hanging on. Well, now they're starting to slip a little bit. Union's hanging right there, not letting that Training Center boat get too far away. So we're in the second 500 meters now. We'll see what happens from here to the 1,000 and see who's going to take moves in and around the 1,000. Union trying to get back into it, and it looks like they are. They're now less than a half a boat down, putting on a big push here to get back on even terms with the Training Center boat. And they are coming back on even terms. Big push by Union right here. Moving very nicely. Let's see if the Training Center boat has a response. They're 100, 150 meters from the 1,000 meter mark. And now Union, right before the 1,000, making a push. Union now with a deck length lead. And at the 1,000 meter mark, it is Union with a half a boat length lead over the Training Center. Third 500 meters. We'll see what happens here. If you've watched any of these other trials, U23s and juniors, there's a whole lot of action in this third 500. The Training Center boat is not sliding back any further. They are holding their position about a half a boat length down. Union taking a couple bad strokes there. Sometimes what happens in the third 500, people start to get a little bit tired here. But they seem to recovered very well, and now they are moving out what looks like a little bit again. Union is holding the training center boat at 3/4 of a boat length. It's hard to tell exactly where the camera launch is, but it does look like Union is moving out a little bit more. It looks like it's bow on stern now, as Union has about a boat length lead with 600 or so meters to go. But here comes the training center boat. Wow, what a huge move. Huge move here. It's a seat per stroke. Unfortunately, the camera boat had to peel off, so we don't have great margins at this point, but it does look like the training center boat is coming back very strongly on the Union boat. What a seesaw battle here. That was a monster move by the training center boat with 750 meters to go. We'll see if Union has a response. Now, the angle here from this shot is not accurate. These two boats are much closer together than this shot would appear. The Union is closest to us, training center boat on the outside. They look to be neck and neck. Last 250 meters are inside the red buoys, which signify the last 250 meters of the race. It looks like the training center boat is starting to pull ahead. Let's see if Union has a response in the last 150 meters. Union is about a half a boat length down at this point. But they have shown before that they can put a push on. I saw the Union bowman looking over. There you go. And it's the training center by a little bit of open water. Wow, what a last 750 meters for them. Go ahead and follow them. Go ahead and follow them. We just got the 2-minute warning for the men's double. So they are under 2 minutes to a start in the men's double. We are looking at the Craftsbury boat of Benjamin Dan and John Graves. And over to the left is Matthew Miller and William Cowles. Miller and Cowles from Potomac did a little international racing in a men's quad with Tom Graves and Sam Stitt in Lucerne, where they finished 8th. Now racing in the double, and we will go to the microphone on the starting platform for the start of this race.
Potomac. Craftsbury. Attention.
Looks like a clean start. They're into the yellow buoys, which signifies a clean race. We're looking at Potomac there. And Potomac is Matthew Miller and William Cowles. Matt Miller from Springfield, Virginia, and Willie Cowles from Farmington, Connecticut. Rowing for Potomac. Go to the camera launch. Closest to us will be that Potomac boat. On the far side is the boat from Craftsbury. Craftsbury is Benjamin Dan and John Graves. John Graves from Cincinnati, Ohio, and Benjamin Dan from Pound Ridge, New York. Camera launch will pick them up at about 500 meters or so, and then we'll see what the margins are at that point. That was the top of the 500 meter marker. Dan and Graves out front from Craftsbury in the bright green unis, but not by much. You can see this Potomac boat coming back on them. Potomac now moving up on the Craftsbury boat. Quick glance over to see where they are, and they are moving. See if Craftsbury has a response. We saw the back and forth in the pairs race that preceded this one. Looks like somebody gets out early, but they have to hang on and survive these charges by the other team. So back and forth battle we may be in for here too, because Craftsbury has not slipped back any further at this point. They are a deck length behind the Potomac boat, but they look like they're coming back a little bit at about the 750 or so, 750 into this race. Craftsbury starting to move back a little bit into the Potomac boat, less than a deck length now, maybe a half a deck length behind. Potomac rowing a little bit higher rating than Craftsbury. As they get close to the 1,000 meter mark, it is Potomac by less than a deck length, maybe a half a deck, half to 3/4 of a deck length. Potomac now holding a little bit of a charge by Craftsbury. And starting to move out a little bit. Potomac starting to move ever so slightly. Potomac now with about a half a boat over Craftsbury. They have about 600, 650 meters to go in this race. So if Craftsbury has a response, they probably better go pretty soon, because neither boat is able to move away from the other very quickly. Craftsbury comes back into them, but Potomac pushes them back. Potomac with now a 3/4 boat length lead as they get close to the 500 meter mark. And it is Potomac out in front. by about a boat length as we go to the finish line camera. For official results, you need to go to usrowing.org. The images you see here are not official results. It is Potomac maintaining a boat length lead over Craftsbury. Craftsbury, remember, was rowing a little bit lower than the Potomac boat, so maybe they have a little more range, a little more speed when they take the rating up. We'll see. But it is still Potomac out front. Craftsbury's coming back, though. Craftsbury's taking the rating up, and they are coming back. Craftsbury is coming back. See if Potomac can hang on. Craftsbury's making a big move here in this last 500. They've taken the rating up. And now the two boats, their ratings are matching a little bit closer. And when that happened, it is Craftsbury who is moving out in front. Craftsbury with a deck length, a half a boat, and it is Craftsbury. So unofficially, it is Craftsbury by about a boat length, doing that a boat length plus in the last 500 meters of the race. Great race for Benjamin Dan and John Graves, unofficially winning the men's double. Next race up is the women's light single. And we're about 3 minutes away from the start of that race. We're a couple minutes away from the start of the women's light single. Looking at Devry cars here from Potomac. On the left will be Joan Buck from Riverside. And then to the right, from the U.S. Rowing Training Center in Oklahoma City, is Michelle Sechser. And from Seattle Rowing Center, further to the right, is Emily Gade. When we pick up the boats on the camera launch, closest to the camera will be Joan Buck. And far off to the right, to the left, is the aligner. And that referee is making sure all the bows are straight.
We'll start again. Ms. Buck, Ms. Cars,
And looking at Miss Cars from Potomac, they are just about to the 100-meter mark, and if everybody gets through the 100 meters clean, it's a fair race, and it looks like it is a fair race. Everybody's underway. Miss Cars from Potomac. As we go to the camera launch again, the closest to the camera will be Joan Buck, then Miss Cars, then Miss Sesser, and then Emily Gade on the outside. Referee staying to one side of the lane so the rower can look down the lane to make sure that she's going straight. And here they come. So on the outside again, in the white top, is Miss Gade. As the rowers get closer to the camera launch, we'll see what their margins are, see who's out in front. Women's lightweight single. And it looks like it is Devery Cars from Potomac out in front by about a boat length, and they are around the 500-meter mark. So 500 meters into this race, it is open water for Miss Cars. And from the training center, Oklahoma City, is Sesser. On the outside is Gade. And closest to the camera, who we'll see in just a moment probably, is, I'm sorry, there she is, Joan Buck. Joan Buck from Riverside looks like she's trailing the group right now, as we're going to pan back up to our leaders. So a little bit of water separating everybody. Well, Ms. Cars, who had a bit of open water, is now bow over stern with Michelle Sesser. And this looks like this could turn into an interesting race here between these two. It appears the other two boats are open water behind. Devery Cars trying to hold Michelle there at a quarter deck, but she's not able to, as Miss Sesser is moving up a little bit, stroke by stroke. Now it's a half a boat. Through this second 500, Miss Sesser is moving. She now is almost on even terms. The camera launch is a little bit behind the two leaders so they don't wake out the trailing boats. But with 100, 150 meters to go to the, or less actually, to the 1,000-meter mark, we have a lead change. It is Michelle Sesser out in front by almost a half a boat. So at the 1,000, a huge push by Michelle Sesser, and she is 3/4 of a boat length over Devery Cars. And moving. Let's see if Miss Cars has a response to this. Again, we've seen some crazy stuff happen in the third 500, in the last 500. So this race certainly is not over. Miss Gade on the outside, trailing by about a boat length of open water, and then closest to the camera here, trailing again open water behind Miss Gade, is Joan Buck. Out in front, Miss Sesser, doing a very nice job. 750 meters to go. Miss Escher has broken open water now on Devry Cars, who has considerable open water on the rest of the field. And we are going to the finish camera. Difficult to tell from this angle, but I think Miss Escher has opened up even more over Devry Cars. But if you watch the two previous races, it doesn't mean this race is over. But doing a very nice job out front. She sat behind, Miss Escher sat behind for the first 1,000 meters, and around 1,000 took a big push and is now out in front by open water. Ms. Cars is going to have a very strong push to get back into this. So from the finish tower camera, it is Michelle Sescher out in front on the left-hand side. Devry Cars in the red uni, just a little bit to the left, and then at the top of the screen is Joan Buck. Right now, Emily Gade is a little bit out of the picture, and she is in third place, but off to the left. Hearing fans on the shore yelling for their favorite rower. But it appears Michelle is going to take this one, barring any unforeseen circumstances, because she is open water on the field. So a really strong push through the 1,000, and then in that third 500, she just broke this open. About 150 meters to the line. Again, everything you see and everything I say is unofficial. You need to go to usrowing.org for official results. Again, this is a winners take all. So, unofficially, Michelle Sescher, Devry Cars, Emily Gade, and Joan Buck. Next race up is the men's light single, and that will be in just a minute or two. Men's light single, they're getting ready here, looking at Andrew Cunningham. I'm sorry, Andrew Campbell. We'll go to the starting platform microphone.
Mr. Cunningham, Mr. Konetsky, Mr. Campbell, Mr. Lambert. Attention.
And watching Andrew Campbell take off like a rocket. Four boats in this race. When the camera launch gets up into position, the closest to the camera will be Sam Cunningham, then Josh Konetsky, Andrew Campbell, who we're looking at now, and then Chris Lambert will be furthest away from the camera. So Andrew Campbell, just a couple weeks ago, won the gold medal in the men's lightweight single at the Under-23 World Championships in Linz, Austria. He's rowing for Cambridge. Sam Cunningham from Pittsburgh, rowing for Malta. Four-time national team athlete. Rowed in the Under-23s. And also rowing for Malta is Chris Lambert. Rowed lightweight quad in the 2007 Under-23s. So a lot of international experience in this lightweight men's single race. And it is a fuzzy picture, there we go, of Andrew Campbell out in front. His whole family's very impressive. A few weeks ago we were watching his little sister race in the Junior World Championship trials. And that's the bow of Josh Canesi. That's his closest competitor right now. And again, closest to the camera would be Sam Cunningham, and on the far side is Chris Lambert. And there they are battling it out. Teammates, both rowing for Malta. They know how fast each other go. Chris Lambert a little bit ahead there. Sam Cunningham closest to us, trailing a bit. Saw the 750 meter marker go by. That is 750 meters completed. Back out to front. Lots of open water here. There's Josh Canesi in the bright green unis of Craftsbury. And then out in front, Andrew Campbell. Just picture perfect form. Rowing very smoothly, very nicely at the 1,000 meter mark. It's a perfect day for rowing. Essentially no wind, just the tiniest little ripple, but they can't even feel it here on the top of the finish tower. Can't feel the wind at all. Overcast, cool, nice, not typical New Jersey at all. New Jersey in August. It is just perfect conditions for racing this morning. Josh Canesi. Field is opening up with Mr. Campbell out in front. Mr. Canesi, who we're looking at here, in second place. I don't think we're going to see quite the battles that we saw in the previous races this morning, and all of the previous races this morning. This one with 750 to go looks pretty much under control by Mr. Campbell. On the left-hand side of your screen is Andrew Campbell. From the bow, looking towards the stern, the Craftsbury unis are whitish, so he is just to the right, Mr. Canesi. And then Sam Cunningham is also in the picture at the top and far right. So Andrew Campbell out front. Again, just off a gold medal win in Austria for the Under-23 World Championships. He was third last year at the Senior World Championships in Plovdiv, and barring any unforeseen circumstances, we'll be heading to South Korea in a couple weeks to compete there. In a couple days, all of these races will be available for purchase at usrowing.org in the multimedia download section. But Andrew Campbell rowing very nicely on this picture-perfect day. Followed by about a boat length of open water is Josh Canessi from Craftsbury. And those two have 3-4 boats of open water on the rest of the field. So unofficially, it is Andrew Campbell coming to the line. Josh Canessi. Closest to us coming into view is Chris Lambert, and on the far side is Sam Cunningham. We're within 2 minutes of the men's light pair. In lane 2, which is off to the left, is unaffiliated Mr. Kaseshvi, Patrick Johnson. New York AC is Greg Flood and Frank Petrucci. And we are looking at U.S. Rowing Training Center, Oklahoma, Michael Wales and Tyler Nace. And then off to the right from Potomac is Jack Devlin and Andrew Hackison. That is New York Athletic Club, the white tops with the red band through the middle. It's Greg Flood and Frank Petrucci. We'll go to the microphone on the starting platform.
Unaffiliated. New York AC. Oklahoma City. Potomac. Attention.
You can see where the buoys turn from red to yellow. Once everybody gets past that point, it's a fair start. Referee launch heading up. They'll go into the side of the lane so the rowers can look down the course behind them to keep the steering. Referee calling New York Athletic Club to get out of the other lane. They need to get back into the center of their lane. There they go. When we go to the camera launch, the closest boat will be the unaffiliated boat of Koshevy and Johnson. They're unaffiliated. It looks like out in front right now is Wales and Nace from the U.S. Rowing Training Center in Oklahoma City at about the 500-meter mark. Men's lightweight pair, Wales and Nace, followed closely by Flood and Petrucci from New York AC in the white boat and white tops. Those two appear to have open water on the rest of the field, and they are locked right there with about a 3/4 boat length lead by the U.S. Rowing Training Center, Oklahoma City. 500 meters, unaffiliated, closest to us in the green tops, and then on the far side is Potomac, and that's Jack Devlin and Andrew Hackison on the far side. Closest is Dmytro Koshevy and Patrick Johnson. They are a couple boat lengths of open water behind our leaders. New York AC of Flood and Petrucci now falling back behind Wales and Nace. Wales and Nace enjoying a, half a boat length lead of open water. .750 meters into the race, and it is Wales and Nace out front by half a boat length of open water over New York AC, Flood, and Petrucci. Our leaders, Tyler Nace from Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, and Mike Wales from Seattle. New York AC is Frank Petrucci from Warwick, New York, and Greg Flood from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Flood finished 9th in the lightweight forwards 2011 Under-23 World Championships, and Petrucci was a member of the Pan Am team in 2011 and finished 7th in the lightweight 4. Looking at the unaffiliated boat, and Potomac on the far side of them, panning back up. There's Flood and Petrucci, and they are hanging on to that half a boat or so open water deficit behind the leaders Nace and Wales. Rowing very nicely out here in front. 750 meters to go. But here we go, third 500. A huge push by New York Athletic Club. Great racing this morning. We're going to go to the finish camera as the New York AC boat is starting to overtake the Oklahoma City Training Center boat with just about 500 meters to go. This is going to be a battle. Right now, 500 meters to go. Having led the entire way, Nace and Wales are now finding a challenge on their hands by Flood and Petrucci from New York AC. We'll see if they have a response. Again, from this angle, it's difficult to tell exactly what's going on. But it looks like Nace and Wales had a response and are pushing back. But now Flood and Petrucci know that they can get into them, so they are not going to give up in any way, shape, or form, and they're going to fight this all the way down. These two boats, hard to say what's going on from this angle, but it looked like it may be that New York AC is out in front now. Another great race this morning. It looked like Nathan Wales had this thing wrapped up, but in that third 500, New York AC with Flood and Petrucci just came charging on, and now it looks like Nathan Wales are having all sorts of troubles as Petrucci and Flood are starting to row away with it. Nathan Wales had a little bobble there, have some steering issues now, and they have dropped back. They are now open water behind as New York AC is coming to the line. Again, all these races are unofficial from my voice and the image you see. Official results are at usrowing.org. About 5 strokes to the line for Flood and Petrucci, doing a nice job here. And they are across the line. Nathan Wales, who led the first half of this race, coming in open water behind. On the outside, the unaffiliated boat of Koshefi and Johnson in third. And with about 5 strokes to go, is Devlin and Hackison from Potomac across the line. And we are less than 3 minutes away from the men's pair width. Up at the start, the men's pair. Otherwise known as the floating leg press. Tough boat. All right, we're going to go to the microphone on the starting platform for the men's pair width. It is Maritime, and they are to the left, and we are looking at pin AC.
Maritime A, 10 AC A, attention.
You could hear just a little bit of the coxswain in there. The coxswain is laying down in the front of the boat. The boat we're looking at, that's pin AC, and that is Rob Young and Matthew Wheeler. They've been rowing at the U.S. Rowing Training Center. Matt Wheeler from Brown University, 3 years on the national team, and also won a gold medal in 2011 at the Pan Ams. He's also finished 5th in the 4th Coxswain 2008 World Rowing Championships, the under-23s. So a lot of experience in Matt Wheeler there. As we go to the camera launch, there we go, there's the Penn AC boat. And their competitors from Maritime, Elliot Cottingham, coxswain, Alex Vernon, and Hank Schless. Should also mention that the coxswain in the Penn AC boat is Stephen Young, another athlete with national team experience. We're looking at the Maritime boat. You can see Elliot's head popping up there, but it pretty significant advantage right now to a combination of Stephen Young, Rob Munn, and Matthew Wheeler. You see Stephen's head popping up there. He's got his Cox box in front of him. Difficult to know what's going on behind him, but right now it appears that Maritime is a handful of lengths behind at about the 750 meter mark. Penn AC storied club out of Philadelphia. Lots of world champions out of that program. And panning back to Maritime. There they are. Helps to be a very powerful rower because it's just the two rowers moving the boat and the coxswain. The boats don't have a ton of get up and go speed just because you've got some extra weight there. And we're getting close to the 1,000 meter mark, and we have a pretty big spread here. The camera boat's going to cut out a bit early on this one. Because we can't get up too much closer. We don't want to wake out the trailing crew. All right, and we are going to the finish tower camera as these two boats come down. Stephen Young, Rob Munn, and Matthew Wheeler doing a nice job out in front. Got a lot of experience in that men's pair with. Mr. Wheeler, Brown University, a great program, 3 years on the national team, Pan Am experience, and also under 23 experience. So lots of different world championships. Stephen Young, national team member, coxing the boat. Maritime, coxswain Elliot Cottingham, Alex Vernon, and Hank Schless. Would have to say, and also ran in this race. Tough boat, first time out most likely. It's even hard to find a pair with these days. I noticed that the boat they were rowing is an older craft. You could tell by the stickers on the side that it had been used by the U.S. national team many, many years ago. To my knowledge, there are no domestic manufacturers of pair width. Both these boats are from Germany. The IRAs used to run a pair width, but they've stopped doing that. They dropped that event a while ago. And once the boat got dropped from the IRA program, the domestic manufacturers stopped making them. Again, a beautiful morning here in central New Jersey. The water is not dead flat, but it's as flat as you want it. It's just got a little bit of ripple, which is just nice. You can just barely see it in the image here. We can't feel any wind here on the top of the finish tower. It's overcast, it's cool. It's really, really nice for August in central New Jersey. You can hear the coxswain, can hear Stephen still pushing these guys. This is a great opportunity to get a good race piece in. And they are across the line. So again, unofficially, it's the Penn AC pair width of Stephen Young, Rob Munn, and Matthew Wheeler winning this event. And their only competitor from Maritime, coxswain Elliot Cottingham, Alex Vernon, and Hank Schless. All right, and we are less than 2 minutes away from the light women's quad final, and we'll be going to that camera in just a minute. Looking at the Seattle Rowing Center quad. Hillary Sager, Rachel Stortvelt, Nancy Miles, Helen Tompkins, and their competitors over to the right is GMS Rowing, Larissa Gulich, Mary Foster, Sarah Giancola, and Michaela Kopenhaver. And there they are. These are all combo boats. See, the bow pair are from Riverside, and we'll go to the microphone on the dock. And it looks like they're into the yellow buoys, which signifies a fair start. We're looking at the GMS Rowing Center boat. Again, these are combo boats. Gulich, Foster, Grancola, and Kopenhaver. And it looks like we have a great race going on. Lightweight women's quads. Boat closest to us is Seattle Rowing Center. Hillary Sager, Rachel Stortvelt, Nancy Miles, and Helen Tompkins. Seattle Rowing Center. Tompkins is on the under-23 national team, 2010 graduate of UVA. Sager's from Boston, rowed at Marist, now works for MIT. Three-time national team member. Hillary finished 4th in this event at the Worlds last year and won bronze in 2011, 2009. So a pretty action-packed boat, the one closest to us. Rowing very nicely out in front here by almost a boat length. This is the Seattle Rowing Center combo. And they appear to have open water now on the GMS boat. Again, this is also a combo. You can see the distinctive unis of Riverside in the bow pair. And I believe the uni on the stroke is from the California Rowing Club, rowing out of Oakland on the west coast. They are about a boat of open water behind in this 2-boat race, Seattle Rowing Center and GMS. Getting close to the 1,000-meter mark, and it is more than a boat of open water for this lead boat, Seattle Rowing Center, of Hillary Sager, Rachel Stordvelt, Nancy Miles, and Helen Tompkins. Rowing very comfortably out front, as it is easy to do when you're in the lead. Tighter shot of the bow pair. Rowing a nice pinkish purple Stempfli. Very pretty boat. And from the finish tower you can see the margin. On the right hand side is the Seattle Rowing Center, out in front by a couple boat lengths of open water. Seattle Rowing Center out in front, couple boats of open water over GMS. These boats will be competing at the World Championships, which starts August 25th in South Korea. They'll be leaving shortly. It's a long trip, as they're going halfway around the world, so it's 19 days. adding a few extra days on this trip just to get acclimated to the distance. Typically, a European World Championships, you go for about 2 weeks, arrive about a week before the competition begins. But because it's South Korea, they'll go for a few extra days. The competition starts on August 25th, and you can follow it through US Rowing or worldrowing.com. And with 5 or 6 strokes to the line, it's the Seattle Rowing Center. Rowing strong, cross the line. GMS coming to the line in just a stroke or two. There they are. So Seattle Rowing Center, congratulations. Up at the start, it's the men's lightweight quads, and they're just loading in. The aligner off to the left-hand side will make sure all the bows are even across for the start of this race. And we're still a couple minutes away from the start. Everybody getting their last drink of water. We're looking at Craftsbury. And in this boat is Philip Henson, Philip Grisdella, Kyle Lafferty, and Hugh McAdam. Now looking at Riverside, Jacob Jorgensen, Andrew Hashway, Peter Alter, and Alex Twist. And off to the right from Malta is Shane Madden, Dave Smith, Colin Etheridge, and Andrew Quinn. There they are, the Malta boat. And we'll go to the microphone on the platform. Crews are making their final adjustments before the start of this race, which should start very quickly here.
Malta A, attention.
And they are out of the red buoys and into the yellow buoys, which signifies a clean start. We are looking at the Riverside boat of Jorgensen, Hashway, Alter, and Twist. A little bit of steering issue here. They'll get it back. But they are heading off to the side of their lane. There they go. And it is Riverside out in front with Malta on the far side, right there with them. Closest to the camera is Craftsbury. Everybody is overlapping. But out in front, it is Riverside. And they seem to be moving just the slightest bit with each stroke, but Malta on the outside, I guess Malta's staying with them, and Craftsbury closest to us is starting to fall back a little bit. Malta has lost, Craftsbury has lost contact. Malta is still with them, barely bow over stern. Craftsbury now a half a boat back on Malta, and 3/4 of a boat length back, open water on the leader, which is Riverside. Riverside out front, not able to shake Malta yet. Malta still barely bow over stern. I think they are through the 750 meter mark. Malta hanging on there, just bow over stern barely. Bowman looking back to see where they are, tell his teammates. They have about less than 100 meters to go to the 1,000 meter mark. And Malta is starting to make a push before the 1,000, right before the 1,000 meter mark. It's Malta making a push. Riverside sees them, they're holding them. So a little bit of play back and forth now. Riverside said, nope, you're not going to get any advantage there in your push. And Malta really was not able to gain anything. So at the 1,000 meter mark, it is Riverside with just barely a boat length over Malta. Malta probably with a boat length over Craftsbury. Riverside rowing very nicely out in front here. Again, that is Jorgensen, Hashway, Alter, and Twist. But look at Craftsbury. They had been out of the picture, so I apologize. They have come back up on Malta and on Riverside. They are now on even terms with Malta. They have less than 1,000 meters, probably around 750 meters, to get back up on this Riverside boat. But now it looks like Riverside is flagging a little bit, as Malta and Craftsbury are now have 3/4 of boat length deficit on Riverside, but they are moving up a little bit. Malta, Craftsbury moving up ever so slightly. Is there enough time for them to overtake this Riverside boat? Riverside doing such a nice job for the first 1,250 meters of this race, but then Malta making a push. And now here comes Malta, and here comes Craftsbury too. Malta now getting on even terms. Oh, and a crab by the Riverside stroke, and Malta takes off. Oh, an unfortunate crab in the Riverside boat, and they are dropped. It is Malta on the far side. So now it is down Craftsbury and Malta. Malta with the lead right now. Both boats getting a jolt of adrenaline as the Riverside boat just dropped out. Malta with 3/4 of a boat length lead over Craftsbury as the two boats come down to the line. And Malta of Madden, Smith, Etheridge, and Quinn across the line first. Craftsbury second. And a very dejected Riverside crew will be coming across the line. They are just paddling at this point. They realized when that bobble happened, there was no way they could get back into this race. Very unfortunate, but that's why we race and not just mail in erg scores. And across the line. Next up is the men's lightweight double, and you're looking at the entire race right there. It's just one boat from Cambridge Boat Club, and it's Austin Meyer and Nick Trojan. Nick is from Los Alamitos, California. And Mr. Meyer is from Cohees, New York. This pair, this double, represented the U.S. at the light men's double at the 2012 Under 23 World Championships and also in 2010. Nick is alumni of Orange Coast College and started rowing at Long Beach. And Mr. Meyer has been on the national team for 5 years. He went to Shaker Heights High School and rowed for Harvard, graduating in 2012. So Austin Meyer and Nick Trojan just have to get down the course. As per the U.S. rowing rules, they have to go down the course. You can't just sign the paperwork and head off to South Korea for the World Championships. You have to go down the course. And odds are they'll take this as a great opportunity to do a full-on piece, sort of see what their speed is. And like I was saying earlier this morning, perfect time to do this. The water is so fantastic.
Attention.
And it looks like they're off cleanly. Men's light double is an Olympic event. And these two staying together for a few years, if they can manage to stay together for a few more years, may have a shot at making the Olympic team in the double. Certainly there will be competition from other people, notably Mr. Campbell, I would imagine, and a doubles partner. It's a few years away, but it's certainly in the back of everybody's mind. the Row to Rio. You can even get the stickers and put them on your car, available from U.S. Rowing. Help support the cause. So we're going to stay with this boat for a little while, and then we'll do a big long shot from the finish tower, and then we'll go back to the last race of the day, which is the women's 4, and again there's just one competitor in that race also, but again they have to go down the course. So men's lightweight double on the course at about the 500 meter mark. Rowing for Cambridge. A lot of experience in this boat, doing a nice job. On a great morning here, just a slight breeze on the water, cool temperatures, beautiful day to row. All of these races and even these rows down the course will be available from U.S. Rowing. You can buy them for a nominal fee. Help support the whole video broadcasting productions that we do throughout the spring and summer. So getting close to the 1,000 meter mark. Austin Meyer and Nick Trojan. So they will be heading off to South Korea, barring any unforeseen circumstances. Long trip. The team will be going for 19 days. Takes a while to get acclimated to that kind of distance. A lot of world championships are in Europe. That takes a few days, but going to South Korea takes even more. So after this, boats will come off the water and they will sign a bunch of paperwork, do a little drug testing, and then continue training before they leave for the World Championships. Long shot from the finish tower. The 500 meter buoy. I'm sorry, the 750 meter buoy. No, that was a 500 meter buoy. They are just about there, just about to the 500 meter mark. And it does appear they're turning this into a good training piece just to see how fast they can go under perfect conditions this morning. Certainly maintaining their rating. We'll probably see it come up a little bit as they get closer to the finish line. You see the yellow buoys turn to red. That means 250 meters to go, and they are in the last 250 meters. Cambridge Boat Club's Austin Meyer and Nick Trojan rowing to the line. Very experienced double. And hopefully they'll have some great success at the World Championships this year in South Korea. That event starts August 25th and runs through September 1st. Go to usrowing.org for updates. And across the line. Congratulations, Austin Meyer and Nick Trojan. Next up is the women's straight four. They should be starting in just a couple minutes. We just heard the 2-minute call. They're making their last minute adjustments, looking down the course. In this boat is Emily Holzkamp, Olivia Coffey, Tessa Gobo, and Felice Mueller. One boat in this race. Women's four. This is a World Championship event, not an Olympic event. There are a couple years there where it was not contested. It was dropped from the program, but it's back in the program. It's a great boat for development athletes. But we will go to the microphone on the starting platform for the start of the women's four.
Netherlands, Great Britain, United States of America, Germany, Australia, China. Attention.
And the women's four is off. Obviously, those other teams are actually not in this race, but they do that just to get the blood pumping, the adrenaline running a little bit. So women's four is off. Little bit of a steering issue here. The referee will not steer them. That's their responsibility. The only time the referee will steer is if they are going to interfere with another crew. But here they're not interfering with another crew. They're just making this course a little bit longer for themselves. There, they're going to see those buoys and make a correction. There they go. So in this race, the referee will just sit off to the side. So we'll just watch them row down the course here. Felice Mueller from Cleveland, Ohio. Tessa Gobo from Chesterfield, New Hampshire. Olivia Coffey from Watkins Glen, New York. And Emily Holzkamp from St. Genevieve, Missouri will row uncontested because nobody wanted to go up against them. Mueller graduated from the University of Michigan, won the pair at the 2011 Under-23 Championships, and was third in the 8 at the same regatta. Also set a world record in the pair at the 2010 Under-23 Championships. Tessa Gobo graduated this year from Brown. Olivia Coffey took third at the 2011 Under-23 World Championships. And Ms. Coffey's father, Calvin Coffey, famous athlete back in the 70s, silver medal winner at the Olympics. And his partner was Mr. Staines, so it was Coffey Staines, and as a young rower I thought that was hysterical. And Ms. Holzkamp graduated from Brown, and she won the single sculls at the 2012 Elite National Championships on this body of water last year. So sweep, sculler, back in a sweep boat. And it looks like they're just having a nice row down the course. Nice solid pressure, but nothing too exciting. Again, they just have to get down the course. They don't have to do anything special. So I think we're just going to watch them row for a while. With 500 meters to go, it's the women's 4, and again, Emily Holzkamp, Olivia Coffey, Tessa Gobo, and Felice Mueller. And they just have to get down the course, and they'll be heading off to the World Championships. Now, of course, that sounds all easy. All they have to do is get down the course, but they have made it this far through the camp, through selection, so getting to the point where they just have the opportunity to make a nice push down the course has not been an easy road. coming up at about 300. Oh, there's the red buoys, so they're within the 250 meters to go. Okay, you guys are out. Head on back up and pick up Richard if you would.
I'm going to drop Chip off first, and then pick up Richard.
Okay, why don't you drop Kate too? Kate, Mr. Korzanowski would like to do some filming with Andrew Campbell.
Okay.
And to the line. It is the women's 4. And that concludes our coverage today. Thanks for watching. Again, all these videos will be available from US Rowing Downloads. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.